If it's correct, you can all see this. I'm sharing my presentation now. An introduction to the Aon student insurance for EEA and EU students who are studying in the Netherlands or who are going to study in the Netherlands. My name is Arti Pancham, as I already said, and let's kick off. Well, first of all, what are we going to talk about? We're going to inform you on who is Aon, why is it important to have an insurance when you are studying in the Netherlands, the European Health Insurance Card, what is the right insurance advice when you're here in the Netherlands and you are an EU or an EEA student? What is the coverage of the Aon student insurance? What happens to your insurance when you're going to work or you're going to do an internship as part of your study? How can you apply for the insurance? How can you pay the insurance? How can you claim the insurance? And then a very important one, how does the healthcare system work in the Netherlands? And what should you do once you have arrived here? Then a recap on everything I informed you about. And last but not least, the questions. About Aon, who are we and what do we do? We are an international advisor in risk management and an insurance broker. Maybe you know us from your own home country. We have 500 offices worldwide. We have approximately 60,000 employees worldwide. Here in the Netherlands, we have 13 offices, and the headquarters is in Rotterdam, where Elijah Kadra and I am based now. And where we are doing, from where we're doing the webinar. We work for the Department International People Mobility, and if you guys have a question, you can always contact one of my colleagues from the Student Services team. We have a multilingual Student Services team, so of course we speak English, but there are several other languages that are spoken. We have insured and serviced over 450,000 students over the last decade. And we are a partner of almost all universities and universities of applied sciences in the Netherlands. So in one of the last slides, I will invite you to come and visit us at a welcome day or the information market from your school. And as I said, since we are a partner of almost all universities, we will definitely meet you at one of those information days or welcome days. Why is it important to have insurance when you're coming to the Netherlands or going to study here or do an internship? And also as an EU or EEA student, because there's the thought that EEA students or EU students are already well insured when they come to the Netherlands with the European Health Insurance Card. Well, first of all, you are responsible for your own expenses. So if you, for instance, damage somebody, you will have to pay that yourself. If you need to go to a doctor or you fall ill and you need to go to hospital or are admitted to the hospital, those costs are for your own account. The university won't pay for that, the society won't pay for that. So that is why it is important to make sure you always have an insurance when entering the country, and preferably beforehand and not when you're here, because if you are not already insured and something happens, then again, you will have to pay those costs yourself. By law, it is required to have at least health insurance in the Netherlands because, well, the healthcare costs can be quite high here and maybe higher than you're used to in your own country. To give you some examples, a specialist consult is approximately 110 euros for only 10 minutes. And that's only the consult. That is not any examinations that you need to have or x-rays that you need to take or scans that you need to have. Those are separate costs that will be added on the consult amount of, for instance, 110 euros. If you are admitted to the hospital, a hospital bed is approximately 800 euros per night. That's only the bed. And if you, God forbid, are admitted to an intensive care unit, the bed is 2,500 per night. So you can imagine if you are not properly insured for those costs, yeah, you can go broke, for instance. But it's also important to have insurance package insurance for unforeseen circumstances, like if you need to go back home in case of an emergency back home, there's a life-threatening situation with a family going on, or somebody has perished and you want to go back. But you can also accidentally harm another person or damage another person's goods, and you can be held liable for that. Or there can be a burglary in your student room and things get stolen. If you're not insured for that, again, you will have to pay all those costs out of your own pocket. So make sure you are properly insured when you enter the Netherlands. The European Health Insurance Card. Well, this is a webinar especially for EU and EEA students. Most of the EU, EEA students who come to the Netherlands to study or do a exchange come here with the European Health Insurance Card. The European Health Insurance Card is the blue card you see on the in the picture at the bottom. You can apply for it if you don't already have it in your home country. But be aware that not each country gives you the European Health Insurance Card, because each country has their own rules for giving away a European Health Insurance Card. So the card must be obtained in your own home country. It has a limited time of coverage, and the coverage depends on your home country. Some countries, as I said, don't give students the European Health Insurance Card, and others receive it just for a year or for 3 months. So make sure that you are always informed on how it works when you are going abroad. The European Health Insurance Card is only for emergency services. So if you have an emergency, it will cover you. But if it's a chronic thing, you need to have medicine for a chronic disease for a longer period of time, it could be well that it doesn't cover you as it is for emergency coverage. The card is not an alternative to travel insurance or to additional insurance, and that's something we not only say, but also the EU recommends to take out additional coverage, because it does not cover any costs for private healthcare or a return flight to your home country or lost and stolen property, what I already explained in a previous slide. If you have the European Health Insurance Card, you must always claim with your EHIC insurer first. In the Netherlands, that is done through Zilveren Kruis Insurance. And the European Health Insurance Card does not guarantee any free services. Some of you may be used to in your own country that if you go to a doctor and you show them the European Health Insurance Card, that it is covered and you don't have to pay anything. Here in the Netherlands, it can be that you need to pay upfront and get your money back, your reimbursement back through Zilveren Kruis. As I said, it does not guarantee any free services because each country's healthcare system is different, and services that cost nothing in your own home country might not be free in another country. So bear that in mind. Of course, if you would like to, and we recommend that, take out additional insurance, and that's insurance on top of the EHIC card for emergency assistance, for repatriation, for home content, legal assistance, personal liability, accident cover, dental and psychological therapy. physical therapy, I have to say, and psychological treatment. You can do that, and I will explain it in one of the later slides. And as a EU student or EEA student with the EHIC, you will receive a discount of 55% on the premium. So that is, well, we think it's a good deal, and it makes it affordable. More on that in one of the later slides. Then the coverage. We have two packages. The Aon Student Insurance offers package insurances. We have an Aon Full Degree Insurance and we have an Aon Exchange Insurance. The full degree insurance is for students who are going to do a bachelor, a master, a PhD in the Netherlands, and are going to stay for longer than 6 months in the Netherlands. And the exchange insurance is for students who are going to do an exchange in the Netherlands that is for a fixed period of time. What is covered in both packages? Medical expenses are fully covered, which means that if you need to go to a doctor, you need to see a GP, you need to have prescription medication, you need to have physiotherapy. If you are referred to a specialist in a hospital, all those costs, as long as it's medically necessary, are covered, including pre-existing conditions. For the Aon Full Degree Insurance, it's fully covered. For the Aon Exchange Insurance, pre-existing conditions are also covered if a pre-existing condition worsens. So if you, for instance, have you are a diabetic patient, you need to have medicine for that. If you are an exchange student, because you're going to be here most of the times, between 3 and 6 months, you need to take your medicine with you. But if something in your disease worsens here in the Netherlands, you are fully covered for that, even though when it's a pre-existing condition. The costs are fully covered. So for the actual costs, what we say, there's no gap and there is no out-of-pocket payment. Psychotherapy is also covered for 3,000 euros per year. So if you need to have psychological help and you already had it in your home country, you will be covered up until 3,000 euros per insurance year. If that amount is more than 3,000 euros, then the extra you will have to pay out of your own pocket. Dental costs because of an accident are covered, 1,250 euros per insurance year. An example, you're going to ride a bicycle here in the Netherlands. That is probably going to be your means of transportation. You had a lovely evening, you drive back home on your bicycle and you fall and you break your teeth and you need to go to a dentist to fix that. You will have coverage up until 1,250 euros per insurance year. So to explain it a bit more in detail, if you are going to do a bachelor's here in the Netherlands for 2 or 3 years, then you have, each year 1,250 euros, and for psychotherapy each year 3,000 euros. So that's something to consider. Dental treatment to relieve pain. Dental treatment is an emergency coverage. So you wake up one morning, you have a terrible pain, you need to go to a dentist. Of course, you can do that and you will be covered for 350 euros. Everything above that amount, you will have, again, pay out of your own pocket. Checkups every 6 months or the mouth hygienist is not covered. And of course, you can go to the dentist for that, but that's something you will have to pay out of your own pocket. Then emergency assistance and extra travel costs. We call that repatriation in case you need to go back home, fly back home, or go by train, whatever is the fastest, because there is an emergency in your home country with one of your family members. Then, of course, that is covered and you can contact our 24/7 emergency assistance number and they will make arrangements for that. if there is a life-threatening situation with an insured student with us and family members need to come over, a maximum of 2 can do that. And again, the emergency assistance telephone number organization we work with from Aon will arrange everything, and the family members will have a coverage up until €7,000 for travel cost, accommodation cost, everything, eating, food for a maximum of €7,000. Then there is a liability insurance. Liability is if you accidentally harm or another person or damage another person's goods. Again, the example with the bicycle, you are riding a bicycle and you bump into a person, that person falls and has damage. Well, in those cases, you can be held liable. And if you are held liable, you will need to pay the damages that are caused to that person. The insurance will then pay for that. But also if you accidentally run into a parked car, you damage that car needs to be fixed, the paint is damaged, for instance, well, that can be quite an amount to reimburse to the owner. In those cases, if you are liable, you will, we will pay for that under the insurance. Then luggage and personal items are covered up until €2,000 during travel. And you will have, if you travel in Europe during your studies or even outside Europe, as long as you are insured with us, you don't need to take out additional travel insurance because you have travel insurance under our insurance as well. You need to be a student, you need to be studying. Then home content is covered. That is everything that you have in your home, in your apartment, or in your student room against burglary, against fire, and against flood. In all cases, if something like that happens, you need to, of course, contact us. But the second thing you need to do in case of burglary, you need to file a police report because we need the police report in order to reimburse you. Then there is an accident coverage and a legal assistance coverage. And legal assistance is, for instance, you rent a room from a landlord or a landlady, and you pay, of course, rent for that. And things are not okay in the in your room or in your apartment, and yeah, you're not happy with that, and you want to you talk with the landlord, landlady. Well, it comes to a dispute and you need legal assistance. Well, in those cases, you can contact us because we do have people working for us who can assist you with legal assistance. That is these are the packages we offer. The next slide is the premium, of course. How much is this? The premium is for the Aon full degree insurance, €1.89 per day, which is €56.70 per month. To give you an example of, because, some students may think, well, that's a lot of money, but you have a full package, including a full medical coverage. And to compare that to the public insurance we Dutch people have here in the Netherlands, the Dutch basic healthcare insurance, for that insurance, we pay around €130, €140 per month. And then there is an excess, an out-of-pocket payment from €385. So we first need to pay €385 when you go to a doctor. And after that, the insurance starts to pay. But that insurance is not as extensive as the medical part of the Aon student insurance. So bear that in mind. So €56.70 is a student premium, I could say. But if you are a European student, EEA student, and you have the European health insurance card, or you have the Dutch basic healthcare insurance, I will talk about that later on during this presentation, then you receive a discount of 55%. So instead of paying 56 euros and 70 cents, you will be paying 25 euros and 50 cents per month, and will have that whole coverage as well. If you are an exchange student, you will pay €1.59 per day, 47 euros and 70 cents per month. And again, a discount of 55% for EU students when they have a European health insurance card, or you have the Dutch basic healthcare insurance. And for trainees, it is also 47 euros and 70 cents, and the discount applies again. If you are finished with your studies, your bachelor's or your master's or both, and you want to do a search year, we are the only company who offer a search year insurance. And the thing is, you need to be you needed to have an insurance with us for over 6 months to be eligible to take out the search year insurance. Search year insurance, €2 and 28 cents per day, and is 68 euros and 40 cents per month. Everything can be found on the website as well. Well, we cover a lot, but there's always things that are not covered. Well, what is not covered? Damages that are caused by the abuse of substances like drugs and alcohol are not covered. Damages that were caused on purpose. If you lie or you're not honest when filling out the application form for the insurance, and we find out later, you will not be covered for the claim you make, and we will stop the insurance. Also not covered are preventive medicine, preventive procedures and checkups, and over-the-counter medicine. Over-the-counter medicine is medicine that you can buy yourself in a drugstore, or you can buy it freely at the pharmacy, like paracetamol or cough syrup, or certain painkillers. Those things are not covered, and you will have to pay that out of your own pocket. And lastly, sports with an increased risk of accidents or injury, like bungee jumping or, survival tracks. Things like that are not covered, but you will find the whole list on the website if you have more, if you want to have more information on that. Then some rules and regulations here in the Netherlands. For international students, it can be a little bit difficult to understand how the system with insurances work in the Netherlands, because if you come to the Netherlands as an international student, you are not allowed to take out the public insurance. You need to take out a private insurance, like the Aon student insurance. Because the Dutch public insurance is funded by the taxpayers in the Netherlands. So every citizen in the Netherlands pays taxes, and from those taxes, the Dutch basic healthcare insurance is funded. If you're not working, you're not allowed to take it out. If you are not a citizen of the Netherlands, you are not allowed to take it out. But everything changes when you are going to do a part-time job or an internship. Once you have a part-time job in the Netherlands, you are obligated by law to have a Dutch basic healthcare insurance. And it doesn't matter how much you earn. As soon as you pay taxes, or if taxes are deducted from your salary, and you pay social premiums, which are also deducted from your salary, then you it becomes mandatory for you to take out the Dutch basic healthcare insurance. And it doesn't matter if you're an EU student or a non-EU student, every international student needs to oblige by that rule. And if you are going to do an internship, you are also obligated by law to have a Dutch basic healthcare insurance. And also if you are from one of the treaty countries, and the treaty countries are, for instance, Bosnia Herzegovina, Canada, Chile, India, Japan, the list that is written down. If you are from one of those countries and you're going to do an internship, you are obligated to take out the Dutch basic healthcare insurance. It's different for non-EU and non-EEA students, but that's not interesting for you. So I will skip that one. If you think, well, I'm not going to oblige by the rules set by the Dutch government, well, think again, because failing to apply for the Dutch basic healthcare insurance will lead to a financial penalty by the Dutch government, and that penalty is given by the organizations CAK and S3B. And the fine is quite high. It's 528 euros, and it's probably going to increase again next year. They will first send you a letter. If you receive a letter from CAK and S3B, please, if you don't understand it, go to the university or ask a fellow Dutch student to help you. Because if you don't react to that letter, they will send you another letter with another fine. So it becomes 2 times 520 euros, 28 euros. And after 3 times, if you haven't reacted, they will take out an insurance for you. With a back date from the moment that you started to work. And of course, they will always take out the most expensive insurance for you. So bear in mind, if you receive a letter from CAK SVB, act. If you're going to work or if you're going to do an internship, make sure you follow the rules. If you are not sure whether you need to take out the Dutch basic healthcare insurance, you can always go to the website of the SVB, where you can find the WLZ position form, and you can ask for an assessment of your situation. You will need to fill out some questions, but you have to remember that it takes approximately 4 to 8 weeks, I heard, is the last information before they give you a final answer to the assessment. So do it in time, because once you start working, yeah, it becomes necessary for you to take out the Dutch basic healthcare insurance. Then the healthcare system in the Netherlands. The healthcare system here is maybe different than you're used to in your own home country, because here in the Netherlands we have a gatekeeper before you go to the hospital. Here we go to a GP first. That's a general practitioner. That's called a huisarts. When you have a problem, you wake up one morning, you have a tummy ache, you need to visit your general practitioner first. But in order to have a general practitioner, you have to either register with them or find one in the proximity of your room or house. The general practitioner is always your first point of contact. So again, if you have health issues, you make an appointment with the GP, and the GP will decide on further actions. In the beginning, they will probably examine them yourself and give you medicine and ask you to come back. If it's necessary for them, they will provide a referral for a specialist consult. But remember that the GP is a fully qualified doctor, so they will examine you first, and they will handle your case first before sending you to a specialist. That's the normal procedure here in the Netherlands. If you need to go to a specialist in a hospital, they will give you a referral. And with that referral, you make an appointment in the hospital, and you will receive either the reimbursement from us, or we will reimburse the hospital directly, depending on certain things. Without a referral from a GP, there is no reimbursement under the insurance. So if you go directly to the hospital, you make an appointment and you are treated by a specialist, but you do not have a referral from a GP, it won't be covered and you will have to pay the costs yourself. So bear that in mind. And very important, when visiting a doctor or any organization here in the Netherlands, make sure you show up on time, preferably 10 or 15 minutes in advance, especially when you visit a hospital or visit a doctor, because if it's the first time, you need to register and certain administrative actions need to be taken. So make sure you show up on time, because if you're not on time, they will cancel your appointment, but they will send you an invoice, and that invoice won't be covered. So that would be a waste of money. Always show up on time, and if you cannot make it, give them a phone call and reschedule. Um, Maybe you've heard that in the Netherlands there is a shortage of healthcare providers in certain major cities, especially a shortage of GPs. Well, what can you do to find a GP, a general practitioner, is to go to zorgkaart.nl and see which GPs are in the proximity of your student room, and find one and contact them. Ask your university, because most universities have collaborations with healthcare providers. And of course, you can always contact Aon. You can contact us, because we have a database with a number of healthcare providers, and we can help you with that. Aon provides free choice of healthcare providers, so you are free to go to any healthcare provider you want, except for, of course, private hospitals. And we don't have many of those here in the Netherlands, but every hospital is as good as the other. It's more or less that, it's easier to go to a hospital or a doctor that is near your own house. One other thing which is very important is that the Aon student insurance is a private insurance. As I explained, as an international student, you cannot take out the Dutch basic healthcare insurance, but you need to have the private insurance. Well, the private insurance is not in the national system of healthcare providers. That's called the VECOSO system. So if a doctor or a secretary says, well, you're not well insured because you have the Aon student insurance, tell them it's a private insurance. Most of the doctors know our insurance, but sometimes, an assistant who is new isn't aware of the Aon student insurance. And once they say that, make sure you tell them that we have our own portal for healthcare providers and that they can contact us for further information. So that's an important one to remember. Then the online application. We recommend that you apply for the Aon student insurance before you leave your home country, because then you are insured during your travel to the Netherlands. And once you set foot on Dutch soil, you are also insured. You don't need a BSN registration at City Hall to take out the Dutch basic to take out the Aon student insurance. The BSN you only need if you take out the mandatory insurance, but that is not applicable to you guys. take out the insurance for the entire duration of your studies, then you don't have to extend it, or you forget to extend the insurance. You don't have to pay everything at once. You can pay monthly, you can pay yearly. We have several possibilities for payment. Some universities apply for the insurance for their students, but that's mainly for the non-EU students. And if you are going to stay longer, or let's say you have finished your bachelor's and you are going to go on with a master's, make sure you extend the insurance before it expires. And you can do everything in your own online portal. Payment, as I said, payment is flexible, pay per month, per year, or at once. You can do that through automatic deduction, direct debit, MasterCard, Visa card, or Dutch Ideal payments, or a manual bank transfer. And if you want to do it by a manual bank transfer, you need to have a European bank account, a SEPA account, that's called. Once you have paid the premium, you do not receive a confirmation. If you want to know if you paid, if everything went okay, check your online invoices overview in your online account. Once you have applied for the insurance, you are obligated to pay the premium. Failing to pay the premium will lead to being registered as a defaulter, which means that you cannot take out any insurance anymore. And if the university applied for your insurance, payment is done through the university, so you don't have to do anything then. Managing your insurance, well, we do everything online, so you will receive everything, all the policy documents in your email. All the changes you can manage in your own online portal. And in case you do need a basic healthcare insurance because you're going to work, then you can take out the Dutch basic healthcare insurance through us as well. You are in charge of your own insurance. So if you need to extend the insurance, or you need to change your address, or you need to terminate the insurance because your plans have changed, or you're going back home, you can do that per day, daily, and the prorated refund will be provided to your bank account. If you have a claim, well, again, as I said, we do everything online. You can claim through your online portal, answer the questions, follow the claims process, upload the invoice, and because you always need to upload an invoice so we can see what the amount is and from who it was, and you will be reimbursed by us. If you have a European health insurance card or a Dutch basic healthcare insurance, then you need to claim first at Zilveren Kruis, because they are the organization that is responsible for the European health insurance card reimbursements in the Netherlands. Well, again, some highlights of the Aon student insurance, a recap. It is an insurance for international students studying or doing an internship in the Netherlands. It offers you worldwide coverage. There's no need for a BSN registration. There's a medical coverage, including pre-existing conditions or worsening of a pre-existing conditions. Psychological consults are covered up until a maximum of 3,000 euros per insurance year. There's a non-medical coverage as well, like liability, households, emergency assistance, repatriation. You have a 24/7 emergency assistance telephone number you can contact if you are, admitted to the hospital, or you need to go back home. They will make arrangements for that. The insurance is fully compliant for visa regulations, except for Switzerland, because Switzerland has their own set of rules. And one last thing, and that's very important to know, The private insurances in the Netherlands are not eligible for healthcare allowance. If you have a Dutch basic healthcare insurance, in some cases, you can receive a subsidy from the government because you have the Dutch basic healthcare insurance. But that is not the case for the Aon student insurance. It's not for private insurances, only for mandatory insurances. So bear that in mind, because if you apply for it, and you receive it, and afterwards it was not for the correct insurance, you will have to pay back everything. So that is a reminder for that. And then come and visit us at your university's Welcome Day. We will be there in January and February at almost all universities. And you can also find the list where we will be on our website. It will be updated somewhere in 1 or 2 weeks, and it will be on our website. And we would love to see you in person. And if you have any questions, you can come to us, or just come to us and get a goodie. That's also very nice. If you have further questions, you can contact one of my colleagues, the Aon student team, on a number written 448-8270 in Rotterdam. You, of course, can also send us an email at info@aonstudentinsurance.com. If you have a claims-related question, you can do that to claimsworldwide@aon.com. Check our frequently asked questions on the website. And of course, you can chat with us during office hours. And our chat is with a real person, a real colleague of mine, not a chatbot. So you will receive the right answers and not the answer of a chatbot. Well, this was the presentation on the Aon student insurance and everything that has to do with insurances in the Netherlands. And thank you for listening, and have a great time in the Netherlands if you are already here, or when you come to study or do an exchange here.